Hey everyone, it's Andrew here with BTS Properties. Today I want to take a look at a recent announcement from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD as you probably know it, where they just officially withdrew 8 major fair housing guidance documents. So before we jump into that though, let me get my disclaimer out of the way. Me and BTS Properties, we are not attorneys, we are property managers. What we are going to share today is just what we are doing internally to protect our owners. So please always consult your own legal counsel for your specific business. All right, with that out of the way, let us take a look at the big announcement that just came out of the HUD office. So here we have FR 6571-N-01 Notification of Withdrawal of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Guidance Documents. That is a mouthful. And we can see it was submitted April 6th. It was published April 6th, and it was backdated for the effective dates of withdrawal. So, basically, long story short, I mean, take a read of this at your will, but if you want like a good, to put your kid to sleep, read this to them. That'll be a great way to help your kid fall asleep. So anyway, but what is happening here? Basically, they are saying that they went and did an audit of all their guidance documents, and they said that if any guidance document fails any one or more of the following 3 criteria here, that they withdrew them. So that resulted in these documents being withdrawn, these 8 documents here. And you can see this is the earliest document was published originally in 2007. So basically they wiped out years of guidance covering how landlords like you and property managers like me handle many different things, from criminal background checks, digital advertising, and even service and assistance animals. So a lot of people may take a look at this and see that it's being deregulated and thinking that they can finally go back to things like blanket bans on criminal records or automatically rejecting or charging a fee for emotional support animals. I am making this video just to share what we do. We are not falling for this trap. So just because HUD withdrew their guidance memos doesn't mean that the actual Fair Housing Act went away. So the law is still the law. It's still there. Nothing changed. These guidance documents just told us specifically how we should do things. And some of these were withdrawn because they kind of went outside of the law. So precedents that exist will still be active. And most importantly, private fair housing attorneys and advocacy groups can still sue you in federal or state court. So, like I said, in fact, without these clear HUD guidelines telling you exactly what you need to do to comply, I really believe that your and our liability risk really just increased, because the rules of the game are now no longer specifically defined. They are entirely up to the interpretation of the courts. So what are we going to do about it? Let me jump back to my little PowerPoint here. All right, so what are we doing at BTS Properties, and what can you take to your legal counsel and see what you should do? Really, honestly, the things that we're going to talk about are more about what we're not doing. So one thing that we are not doing is we are not changing the way that we do our criminal screenings. So we are going to continue to maintain our specific criminal offense criteria and look at every crime that pops up on a criminal report, specifically for the severity and the threat that poses to an owner's property or surrounding residents in our decisions on criteria. So what that means, basically, you still can't, we're still not blanket denying people for criminal, if they have a criminal report pop up on their report. We are looking at it case by case. What is the felony, or what is the crime? How much of a risk does it pose to the owner and his property and the residents around there? And we are making the decision based on that. And we have that written out within our property, what specific crimes are acceptable and what are not, what impact our decisions. If you are an independent landlord, that is something that I recommend. If you don't already have that, make sure that you talk with a lawyer about how you can set that up to stay compliant. All right, that's number one. Number two, everything in property management. If you take nothing else away from this, document everything you do in property management and being a landlord, especially around applications and screening and really any leasing decisions. So document every decision, especially denials. So if somebody was denied, you need to document what in your specific screening criteria that should be available to people, what in your specific screening criteria were they denied for, and why, basically. So if you get sued, you need to be able to point back. If you get sued 2 years down the line, you need to be able to pull up your application and say, hey, I denied John Smith because John Smith did XYZ, which went against this point of my screening criteria. So document. Third, emotional and service animals. We are not changing the way we approach accommodation requests for emotional support animals and service animals. We are not charging a fee still, as long as they can go through our screening and provide the proper proof of it being an emotional support animal, and is a reasonable request. So you still have to go through the same screening. However, we're not changing anything there or charging any fees for pets. So those are 3 things that we're not changing. I recommend that you be wary of not changing yourself or talking with your attorney about how you should approach that. Really, though, navigating federal housing compliance right now is it's a spicy topic. There's a lot of legislation that's happening in a lot of states that I think will eventually make their way into Illinois as well. And there's also a lot of stuff happening at the federal level. If that sounds overwhelming and keeping track of HUD withdrawals, disparate impact liability, and individual screening matrix C sounds like a headache you'd rather not deal with, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help how we can. Our numbers, you can reach out to our office number or visit us online at btspeoria.com. If we can be a resource, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks so much, and have a great rest of your week.